All right, so we're going to test the plumbing, the water system here, check for leaks, make sure everything's working properly. I'm going to connect it to the city water fill first. That'll go directly to the faucet and the shower, bypass the tank. So we'll check that system first, and then we'll do a fill on the 30-gallon bulk tank. We'll evacuate all that water, rinse everything all out good, and then we'll go ahead and we'll fill it again, see how it goes. All right, so I finally have a hose adapter for the faucet that works with my setup. So I've got, basically right now, I've got the city water connected. We've got pressure down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the valve, and we're going to check for leaks at the connections. This will bypass the tank, so we're just looking for everything towards the faucet and the shower and stuff. So. Whew. So the city water comes in here, goes over into this cabinet, and down here in the cabinet it comes through this one-way check valve, and then goes down and comes back through the cabinet back towards the sink. There's another check valve right behind this pump here that prevents the water from going into the tank system. So when the tank system's being used, then this one-way check valve prevents the water from going to the city water fill. So with that said, it doesn't appear that anything is leaking down there. So then we come in under the sink, and we've got our plumbing there. Now I've got the water supply shut off to the hot water tank at the moment. It is turned on, and it is going to the sink, and it is by default. Oh, we got a leak here. Well, Houston, we've got a problem. Okay, well, we had a couple of leaks. We had a shark bite fitting back under that cover there that needed a little bit of a push-pull, but it seems to be doing its job now. I did forget to plumb up this black water line, which is actually the wastewater from the filtration system. So that got plumbed into the drain. We had a little leak here on the hot water side here, so we've got that sorted out now. I'm not real pleased or happy with where that outlet is, so I'm going to revisit that at some point here and move that. I'm a little dependent upon where this cord can actually reach, but unfortunately with where the plumbing is kind of landed and ended up, it's right above that outlet, which isn't really ideal. So I'm going to have to revisit that. But otherwise, I've got the hot water, cold water. Now this is a city water pressure, so this is coming directly from my house down some garden hose to the faucet. Now the hot water tank obviously isn't plugged in, so there's no actual hot water, but and then we also have the drinking water fountain, which is currently being I guess prepped. What we have to do is let it cycle through for a while and fill up this tank here, and once this tank is full, which I'm not quite sure how long that's going to take, we're going to drain the whole system and then let it fill again. Because I don't know if you caught that when I first opened it, there was some black that came out of there, but that's probably from the charcoal filter or something to that. There's going to be some ickiness until it gets flushed through, but otherwise that's done and ready to go. And then the shower, we've got the shower plumbed, and we got water there. Now the only downside to this current setup is that I'm sitting on a little bit of a forward lean, so all the water's heading in that direction. Now future for me would be to kick it a little bit, level would be ideal, but a little bit elevated on the nose. Unfortunately, the plumbing goes that way too, so whatever rise I get out of the truck, I'm going to have to make sure it's not significant enough so that it doesn't actually drain. So But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Okay, so now I've got the hose connected to the bulk tank fill, which there's both a vent, and then there's this vent here on the hose. So we should see, once this tank is full, we should see that water come out of that hole. Now this is the bulk, that's the bulk tank. So we just gotta watch this line here, see if there's any leaks. That comes in this tank over here, and bulk fills down over there. So that should be pretty fine. All right, that's it. That's the full tank. Brimming. Full tank. Looks like about 10 minutes. So that's pretty good. All right, now that the water tank is full, we can power up the pump and see how that goes. Actually, no, we have to turn on the valve first. We have to open the ball valve here. Down in, uh-oh, we got leak here. Yep, that's, okay. All right, we may have to revisit this this plumbing situation here. We got a little bit of a leak there. That's not no good. No good at all. All right, let's turn this pump on. Well, it looks like I've got this pump plumbed backwards. Got the arrows going the wrong direction, so we're gonna have to flip this pump upside down and re-plumb it. All right, so pump is back on and it primed. Perfect. So another trip to the big box store. Got some parts. The fill system that I set up is leaking. Wasn't really ideal how I wanted it to be, but I couldn't find a solution. But what I didn't realize was the fill hose itself, not only is it PVC, but it fits inside of a standard PVC fitting and can be glued. If I'd have known that last fall when I first set this all up, job would have been done. So I did pick up a couple new parts. We're going to rebuild that fill system a little bit and upgrade it to a much better solution to the problem. I do have another problem though. Now, last night I left the power to the pump on. It was cycling every so often. It was cycling. Now, what I was thinking that it was doing, when it was cycling the water into the holding tank for the drinking water system. Now, the RO filter, I know it takes a little bit of time to push through that water through that system. And so I was thinking to myself, well, you know, this pump is kind of, you know, on and off every now and again to push that water through into that holding tank. However, there is no way that this tiny little holding tank can hold 30 gallons of water. That's right. My entire 30-gallon tank of water is empty. It's gone. I come in this morning to the van to check it out, and the pump was running full on, and the tank was absolutely empty. So that means I've got a leak somewhere. So we're gonna have to track that down, break out the garden hoses again, and the fill hoses, and bring more water in and into the system and test this all over again. Right now, before I get into that, what I want to do is assemble part of the glue fittings for the new fill hose, so that gives time for those to set up and cure. And then I'm going to push off onto the base for the toilet, as I'm going to throw some polyurethane on those risers that I installed the other day. All right, so that's the new piece of kit. We've got a 1.5 inch threaded fitting into 1 1/4 inch. And then we've got a coupler here, a union, and then a 90 where the hose is going to glue into. And then this is the down part of it, of the inlet side, and we're going to connect this Fernco up, and then that hose is going to connect on there too. So that'll be a pretty neat and tidy system. All right, time to dismantle this. This has got to go. That leaked terrible. Wasn't really a very good plan. So that's coming off. I don't think I can turn that without taking this bulkhead out, and I'm not going to do that, so I'm just going to cut that off. Call that even. Right. Go. Like that. That'll go into there once I get the dimensions sorted. That. Now, the question is, let's see here. question is, there we go. Perfect. That'll just push into there. Go. All right, that's a much better solution. Okay, so I think I figured out this filtration system. The gray water discharge for it needs a certain pressure for it to shut off. There must be some kind of a check valve in there. Now the pump, the electric pump, is a 45 psi pump, so there's plenty of pressure there. So what was happening was the check valve wasn't closing, and so then the gray water was still flowing, and I emptied an entire 30-gallon tank of fresh water last night. And the way I fixed this was, there's the holding tank. The holding tank, I checked the pressure in the holding tank, and it was unreadable to 10 psi. So whatever pressure was in there was below 10. I put 10 pounds in here, and it seemed like it helped, but I still was getting the pump on and off. So I put 15 pounds of pressure in here, and the system is holding. I have not heard the pump run now in probably 30 minutes. Otherwise it was like running like once every minute or so. So I think I've got that figured out, and we're not going to be going through 30 gallons of water tonight. So that's going to be the good thing. There it goes. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think we're in good shape. The plumbing is all complete. The leaks are taken care of. It appears at the moment that the filtration system's working as intended. So I can move on to the next step. I'm Jax Mackey, and this is my daughter. That's right. I got help this week. She's gonna help me work on the flooring. So together we're gonna probably get as much done as we can, and hopefully we'll get it done. What do you think? So I think I had a couple of comments about running my floor this way instead of long ways the other way, and so it presents a couple of issues or problems, but I think we'll be able to work through some of them. But what I need to do though is I need to sort of figure out where the floor joint's going to end up at. What I don't want, because I'm going to extend the flooring into the cab area up to the front, but what I don't want is a joint. I don't want to have to split a board down the middle to go around this bulkhead. So what I'll probably do is start the framing right at the bulkhead here. I could trim out a little bit for it to protrude maybe, but otherwise, so then the next board that goes tight against it won't be as difficult to attach to. So I need to figure out exactly where I'm going to end up when I get down at this end. So what I'm going to do is do some math. Each board's about 7.5 inches. So I'm going to figure out how many boards it's going to take to fill this space, and then what kind of leftover I'm going to have when I get down to that other end. Well, measuring from the bulkhead all the way to the other end, I come up with exactly 21 pieces. So yeah, I think that's pretty much a go. So I don't have to do any more measurement. That's going to work out just fine. All right, this probably would have been a lot easier to put the flooring in before I put any of these cabinets and shower and all that stuff in here. But I wanted the ability to change out the flooring without having to rip the van apart or doing an extraordinary amount of cutting to make this happen. So this step is going to be a little tedious, trying to get this vapor barrier laid out and cut around all the shapes, but I think it'll be well worth the effort to do so at the long run for the next owners of this vehicle. If they want to change out the flooring, it's going to be relatively easy for them to do that. Vapor barrier is down. I'm not gonna, I got the doorway and underneath the for the fridge yet to cut in there, but I got this big piece in here right now. Now what I got to do is I got to sort this end cap trim because I gotta router this down to accommodate the height. So before I get too carried away and create a whole bunch of sawdust, I'm going to have to vacuum up. I'm just going to go ahead and work on this right now. All right, so I've got a piece cut in here. I got this trim, which is going to be our cover plate. I'm wondering if I just well, I kind of want this oak to go over the pine, so that'll serve as a much stronger step surface, as opposed to butting this up to there, which will kind of look kind of funny. And then this is a soft edge. I don't rather have this oak. So we're gonna have to trim this down, but before I do that, it looks like I got a clearance problem here. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and get my multi-tool here and trim this back. Probably have to check that end too, to be sure that it's gonna fit underneath. So let's take care of that. All right, that's a pretty nice fit. Yep, that's a pretty nice fit. That'll screw down, and nice hardwood edge to step on, and then it'll protect that edge from getting beat up. So that'll look pretty good. Okay, who are you and how do you know me?
I am the almighty Tiny Jacks.
Give it a kick in. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Looks good.
Amazing.
Seems to be laying down good. Facing my floor, and it's not even installed yet.
Oh.
Got it in there. Again?
This will be the one. It must be.
How much? Still that same spot? It's loose over here. Maybe it's. I think it might be just catching on the front, up all the way to the other end.
Maybe.
If you just can you give it? Pull it back out, and then give it. Just give it. There it is. All right, that's not bad. Let me see up front.
I feel like we just need to cut off the nib.
Okay.
Guess we'll start with that.
What's the catching on?
I don't know. There we go.
That's it?
That's it.
Dinner, huh? Okay. Good stuff. All right. Oh, well, we did it. Lex and I got the floor in. Got the table mounts. Got a table here set up just to check it out, see how it is. What do you think, Lex?
Oh,
Did you have fun?
stellar. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you learn anything?
Thank you very much for tuning in.
Did I learn anything?
Be sure to check out next week's video. And if you like the content, be sure to like and subscribe.
Absolutely.